Light a candle, balance to the world. So that's what we are doing. We're lighting a candle as we are working on bringing balance to the world. Thank you for joining me. Light a candle, balance to the world. Start working on yourself to bringing balance to yourself, balance to the world. Together we can. Let's join hands. Today's question is, what is the truth of the world and how do we bring balance to the world? Are we really inside a dream or is this the real world? And how do we bring balance to this dream? This is what I will be talking about today. So let's first establish, let's all get on the same page. Let's establish what this world is, because you don't know. This world is a dream, and it's a prison. Yeah, before we can bring balance to the world, we must know the truth of the world. Yeah, because you cannot bring balance to the world if you don't know the truth. And you cannot know the truth if you keep staying in the ego. You're in the mind, you're exploring the world in the mind, and you don't know yourself. You think that you are the mind. I know it's time for you to wake up from this sleep. The real self has to wake up. Castrate this ego character that the mind dreams of. You're a dream character. The real self is sleeping in there. Yes, this is a dream world. First, let's get on the same page, because many of you don't even know who you are. You don't know yourself. You don't know that this world is not real, because you don't know that you are exploring the world as the mind, as the ego character, the dream character that you dream of, this avatar that you're in, this mask that you're wearing, this disguise that you're wearing, that is not you. Yourself is sleeping and the mind is dreaming of this character. When you go to sleep, who is it that is sleeping? And who is it that is dreaming? Do you know that you are in a dream? While you were participating in the dream, did you know that it was a dream? It was only when you woke up from the dream that you realized you were dreaming. Why are we inside a dream? We came into the dream to explore the duality so that we can master it and return back to the non-duality. The next slide will show how the world came into being and how we fragment ourselves before entering into the dream world, because we need to understand it. This outer golden light here, this is the sun of self-supreme primal light, that the world is built on our sun. And inside of it, we have Amun-Ra, and then we have Geb. And then here is the world where we have all of these stars are our sun. And then we have two suns shining. One is for Supreme Ra, and one is the sun of the non-dual consciousness, which is the mind of self-supreme primal light, Ashen Ra. And so in the duality realm, we're inside of a dream, the dream world. We're exploring the ego, but we're sleeping and dreaming. The ego is doing that. The self is sleeping. It's chaos, it's madness, it's destruction, it's darkness, it's ignorance, and it's fear. And so ego takes precedence over the self and is the one that is in charge and in control. We have no control over the mind, and this is the reason why the mind has been holding the self in a prison here in this dream world. And so now we have to get control of this mind. We have entered into someone's dream, y'all. We are inside someone's dream. This is the dream world. We are inside the dream of the Supreme Self, Supreme Ra. Her mind is called Brahma, and it's the duality consciousness, and it's the mind and the intelligence of the world. This is a dream world. Brahma, the duality consciousness, is tainted and is the supreme ego. Supreme Ra cannot control her mind, and this is the reason why the mind has taken over the world. And so everybody is in the mind. This is what's happening. The mind is sick, the mind is tainted, and the mind has been holding the self in prison here. Yes, this is what has been happening. We want to know to awake from sleeping so that we can come into the real and castrate this dream character, this avatar that you're in. You need to get out of this avatar and wake up to real self. The world, the visible world, and the invisible world. The invisible world, when we explore the invisible world, we explore it without a body. So like when you're sleeping and dreaming, you're going into the invisible world. This is a dream within a dream. So the visible world, the baby self sleeps, the baby consciousness of the baby self sleeps and dreams of a character, an avatar to explore the world. And so the ego arises from the mind. In the visible world, the mind is dreaming up the avatar, the character that it's going to use to explore the world. Just like when you're playing a game, a video game, and you have an avatar that you use to play the game for you. This is what this character that you're in is. It's that avatar, the ego that's playing, that's exploring the world for the mind. Now we have a self that's sleeping in the body that is animating the body, but it's sleeping, so it's not exploring the world. Only the avatar from the mind is doing that. And so what you want to do, you want to wake up your sleeping self so that it can explore the world, so it can come into the realization that it is in a dream and come into the truth of itself. Supreme Ra is dreaming the world into being, and all aspects of the self is sovereign. But once he came into this duality in this dream, the mind, the consciousness, have been holding the self in prison and has taken away its sovereignty and have enslaved it inside of this dream. Duality consciousness is the supreme ego and is rebellious and stubborn by nature. It is habitual and is a tainted consciousness. Duality consciousness is prone to suffer mental sickness and madness. It has been very difficult for Supreme Ra to cultivate and balance her wayward, sick mind. Consciousness needs time to rest and to be purified. Once you come into this world and your life gets turned off, it creates sickness in the mind. And so this is what has been happening in this world. We are inside the dream of consciousness. Consciousness is dreaming of this world. And consciousness mind is very sick. That is the problem that we're having. The sickness in the mind of the being. Conscious mind is so sick that conscious has taken control of the world, and so consciousness does not allow the self to explore the world. Consciousness has tranced the self in the dream. The mind has tranced all the self in the dream. And when the self is supposed to rise up and explore the world, consciousness trap it and loop it in its magnetic energy and keep it entranced in the sleep, and so it cannot wake up. And it only wakes up when you call it. The mind has to call it into awareness, because you're exploring the world in the mind. When you come into this awareness, the mind and the self have to explore the world indivisible, being in awareness of each other and being in equanimity. The consciousness, when it takes over and imprisons the self, it does not allow the self to rise up to participate in the world. Alright? And so while the consciousness entranced the baby self in a dream to prevent it from coming awake, so that its baby consciousness, the mind, the ego character, should rise and take precedence over the self. We are all given a replica of the sick and tainted consciousness. Yeah, so this is what's happening. The mind of the world is very sick. We got a replica of that tainted consciousness in a baby form. So we are exploring the world right now as baby minds. All the people just into the mind, you want to castrate this ego, and you want, because it has created an avatar to explore the world in, and we want to return it back from wherever it rise and came from, because the real self is in the body, sleeping, and needs to be awakened so it can take charge of the world. How we fragment ourselves before we come into the world to explore it. When we first came into the world, explore this dream, the self rose. Self is the feminine principle. So the self rose, the consciousness rose. indivisible. After you write out your destiny, then you make a self-replica. So everything that the self does, the self-consciousness always have to rise with it because they are indivisible, they are masculine and feminine principle, they go together as one. So you make a self-replica, your self-consciousness does the same thing. They go together, this one with this one, this one with this one. These are the extremes. Write out your destiny again. All right, the same thing. You're given the non-dual consciousness. So here you have 6 cells. What you're going to do now, you're going to make a baby self. On the baby self, you're going to carry the baby self in the body with you. And so this is how you come into the world. So this self, this is you coming into the world with the baby self. So inside of the body, you have 2 cells, a baby self and the parent self. Then this self of yours goes into the world in another body as a different human being. This self follows the same pattern. Goes into the world as another human being in a body. Now this self goes into the world, but it does not come into the body. It becomes one of the disembodied beings then that we are worshiping, calling the God. Then this one now does the same thing. We explore the world, electrical beings, the magnetic beings. We explore the world in the feminine and the masculine principle. We explore the world in a body and disembodied. So this is how we are exploring the world. And so this is what happens when we come into the world. So all of ourselves is in the world. What you say are the gods, they are yourself. But they're in ignorance because what happened is that when we come into the world to explore, the mind took over. The self went to sleep and never woke up. You've been sleeping all the time. You never came in here to serve any God. You came to explore, and you're supposed to merge back all yourself to be back a unified self like this. You got trapped and tricked in here by the mind. The mind has enslaved us, been enslaving us in this dream for ages. For ages we've been enslaved. We've been a prisoner. We've been a prisoner in this dream. And it's time for us to be liberated from this dream. Yes, wake up. It's time to wake up. No more sleeping. It's time to wake up from this prison. For ages you've been sleeping. It's time to wake up from this dream. Look at this baby. Caught in the loop of the imagination. This is just how humanity is in the world. Sleeping and unaware. Just like that fetus in the womb. Sleeping and unaware. This is what's happening in the world. This is how we came into the world. Sleeping and still sleeping. Your real self is sleeping unaware. You are sleeping and unaware that you are sleeping. Caught in the loop of the imagination. World created inside of a dream is not real, people. This world is a dream. Just like when you go to sleep and the mind is dreaming that you are being assaulted, you don't even know that it's a dream. It's only when you wake up that you know that you were dreaming. It's the same thing. In this visible world, the visible dream, the self is sleeping. Just like the baby in the womb is sleeping. And only time it will know that it's in a dream is when it wake up. The only time it will know that it is in a dream is when it wake up. And you have to wake up. For ages you've been sleeping. The mind has tricked you and tranced the self in the sleep. And we've been only living as this ego character, the mind. We have lost control of our mind, and it's time for us now to dissolve this dream. This dream has to be dissolved. You need to wake up so that this dreaming can stop. You're a prisoner in this dream. You're a prisoner in this world. And every time you figure out the world, the gods, them, ourself who was in ignorance as the mind, the ego, 100% ego, they have been keeping us enslaved because the mind has taken over control of them and have enslaved them and have them doing a whole lot of bad things. The mind is sick, it's mad, and it's corrupted. This is a crazy dream. We need to get out of this dream. Wake up, your sleeping self. It's time to wake up. Yeah, as you can see, this unaware baby sleeping. That's all you are in the world. You need to wake up. I'm telling you that you're enslaved. You're inside of a dream, and you need to wake up. So this is what happened in the duality. Your sun does not shine, the self is sleeping, and your sun is not shining either. Your sun, and this is the reason why you have to wake yourself up. So because of this ignorance, you are identifying yourself as the ego and as this body. Are you this body? Are you this ego? Ego is the character, the dream of character. Consciousness, the mind is dreaming of a character. This character here, that the body, is not the real self. You have to go in here and call the real self to awake because it's sleeping, so that you can explore the world as a self, not as the mind, the ego character, the avatar, the mask that you're wearing, because we are inside of a dream. The self sleeps, and when you sleep, your light gets turned off. Where do we go from here? It's time to light your candle and bring balance to yourself. It's time to light your candle and bring balance to the world. How do I self-illuminate? How do I light my candle and bring balance to the world? All is myself, I alone exist. First thing you have to do, you have to wake up to bring balance to the world. Everyone sleeping must wake up. You have to wake up. You must prove to the ego that you are the real, because the ego has been programming the self and telling it that it's not real, and telling yourself that it is the real. It is not self-luminous, it doesn't shine. You are a sun, you have to turn your light on, you have to wake up and castrate this ego. Let this ego know that you are the boss. The mind has been ruling you and holding you a prisoner for ages. It's time for you to show the mind that you are in charge, and you and it is indivisible, that you are moving parallel together. It's time to wake up and get out of this dream now. This is a crazy prison system that we're in. We're in a prison. No, one, this a prison you have to end. No, been enslaved in this prison. Yeah, the mind has been enslaved. Yourself has been enslaved in here. You must prove to this ego that you are the real, that you are self-luminous, that the ego is the dream character and not you, because the ego have been telling you that you are a dream character. The self has been sleeping. The ego, the mind, has tranced the self in this dream and imprison it. You don't know that you are in a prison. This dream world is a prison. Yeah, and the gods, them are the guards. They've been brutalizing the self. They've been brutalizing us for ages. And no one can get the full understanding. And I'm telling you that it's time to wake up and put a stop to this right now. It's time to wake up. Yes, everyone sleeping must wake up. The self-supreme primalite is bringing an end to this dream, because she wanted to have a dream world where she could explore the dream, but the consciousness got so tainted. The consciousness is so crazy. The consciousness is so sick. The madness, the range, that it is doing all of these crazy things, and people are following the craziness and they're not thinking, because the consciousness, the mind is controlling you. The supreme ego, the supreme mind is controlling your mind, because you are its baby. You are exploring the world as a baby mind. This is what you need to understand. You explore the world as a baby consciousness in a body, and the goddess are baby consciousness disembodied. They are the magnetic version, while we are the electrical version. And this is the reason why them so powerful, and I'm not afraid of them. But as yourself, you have to wake up to bring a stop to it. It's the only way you can bring balance to the world. So wake up, wake your backside up and come into the real. Turn your light on. This is how you're gonna bring balance to the world. Bring balance to the world. It's time to wake up. You've been sleeping for ages. For ages you've been sleeping. Can you imagine that? You came into this world as a self and you never got to explore the world. Only your mind, only the mind has been dreaming of this character that you are exploring the world in. This is a dream character. Yeah, this character can't even leave out of the dream. It's a staying at the dream. That's why it has been holding the self prisoner for all this time, because it knows that once you wake up, this character goes extinct. So it's time now to to wake yourself up from the sleep. The self-supreme primal life is the real self-supreme primal life. Aten Ra is the real. She's the self. She's non-duality. She's awake, alert, and aware, indivisible, balanced, and in harmony with ourselves and with our sun, with our mind. She's the only non-dual self here. Her and her mind, they are balanced. She's in harmony. We want to connect with ourselves. Self-supreme primal life, Aten Ra. This is how we're going to bring balance to know ourselves, to know who we are. She is the knowledge. She is truth. It is the feminine principle, and for ages she's been battling with the masculine principle. She said, all is myself, and I alone exist. And all of us have to turn back onto her, because all of the self that's sleeping must wake up. This is how we're going to bring a balance to this world. Yes, it's time now to move from the duality and return back to non-duality. Time to move from this darkness, return back to the light. Time to move from this moon energy, return back to the sun energy. Now this moon must return back to being a sun. It must return back to its truth. Thank you for joining me. Hail to the primal light. Hail to the light throughout the ages. Hail to the true light. Hail to the light without beginning or end. Hail to the transparent light. Hail, hail, hail. Hail to the primal light. Self-supreme. Aten Ra. Hail to the primal light. The self-supreme. Self-manifest. Hail to the primal light. Self-supreme. The unmanifest. Hail, hail, hail. I bow to the primal light.
Bringing harmony.
I bow to the primal
balance to the
guru.
world.
I bow to the great supreme teacher within. I bow to the great supreme wisdom within. I bow to the great supreme truth within. Hail, hail, hail. Hail to the primal light.